Alright guys, so here's another thing that I made starting with the Zelda-like kit that I did in a different episode. I used that as a starting point and built around that, and I made like a little mini dungeon thing just to kind of show what you can do with Project Spark and some of the mechanics, and just have fun with it basically. So I just hit something, did not mean to do that. So I'm gonna play through it, and then anything that I think is interesting enough to come back to, we'll look at the code. I taught myself some things that I wanted to do because I had to make certain things. But let's get right into it, and let's start playing. It's supposed to kind of have a Zelda feel to it. It's like, this is where you came from, obviously. Also, real quick note, reason I don't have music in my games is because I don't know how the copyright system on YouTube would work, and again, don't want to screw my channel before it even starts. So, you just hear my stupid voice through the whole thing. Basically you gotta come up here and you're like, oh no, there's wood blocking the way, phooey. So, but then there's this flame thing here, so you'll switch to your arrow. Again, I try to make it kind of like Zelda, and it catches fire, and yeah, you burn down the area. Like, that'll probably be something I come back to when we look at the code, because again, another thing that I've enjoyed making. Come down here, like, oh, where do I go? I did kind of leave this part a little empty, but this is more of an example kind of project. So then you jump down here, and you have to switch to the crystal so you can go underwater. Like when you come over here, basically you'll find that there was a door blocking your way, or a gate rather. And you're like, oh, how do I do that? Well, you gotta come over here, and then look up, and you'll see that there's another way. Down here, there's like a magic gate thing over here. You'll see it has two locks on it. So what you need to do is find the two keys, which will follow you, but you gotta keep them close. And then you bring them towards the gate, and one of the locks is gone. So we'll do that with this one too. This one's a little bit more complex. Again, gotta kind of go slow so it can keep up. Again, things can be tweaked and perfected. Come on, key. And you bring that one over to this lock. Blam. No more magic gate. That will allow you to come over here, hit this switch, and open the gate and the cam to the gate so you know that it's open. Back to where the gate was. Swim through here. Also, since this is a new channel, let me know like if you want me to talk more, if you want me to talk a lot less. Yeah, always open to suggestions, criticism, all that. So now you're at this gate. You gotta shoot them with the arrow. And then this portal was kind of fun to make. So this is where I left off. The boss doesn't actually do anything. Like, the whole next episode is gonna be making him, this boss, something incredible. Yeah, so let's jump into some of the code. Alright, so I don't want to show you guys anything that I already did, so I won't be showing you how the rocks blow up. You can look at the other kit I made to understand how that works. But let's start here. As you can see, the collider for a very small square, if you can see that, because the square, when you hit it, it impacts the arrow, and it seems to do that. I don't know if there was another issue, but it seems to do that even when it's not collidable. So basically, there's a fire sprite here. So you got the podium right here, or whatever, the column. So it looks like fire, whatever. And then this collider is attached to that cube, which is coated. If I can get to it. Can I get to it? I think this is it. Yep, this is it. So when in trigger zone, archer arrow, which is what the bow shoots, it's referring to the arrow, add brain to it basically, and then this particular brain is relative to a logic cube in world object logic cube, which is right here in the wall, which what it constantly does is play the flame aura effect. And it's invulnerable, so that's what the arrow will do when it passes through that collider, which it simply looks like it's passing through the fire. And then these objects are created in a certain way, which is when it detects the flame aura, because the arrow passed through and is now playing the flame aura, it will destroy itself with a fire explosion effect. So me detect flame aura, destroy me with effect fire explosion. And that's how you destroy these with the arrow over here. Again, that was fun to make. Down here, I mean, these are relatively simple. They're just like magic beams that hurt you. They're glowing, obviously, so hologram colors. And then me, bump player, damage 5 is where I have the damage it. So it will damage the player, basically 5 HP, if you will. Let's do the keys. Both keys are coded the same way. Basically, when it detects player, it'll move towards it with flying directly. I also attached a trail to each one, to each key, and change the color of it. So yeah, it will also turn towards it quickly when it referring to the player. Me detect rustic lock or padlock. It will destroy it with an effect, which is the arcane explosion. It will also destroy itself with the same effect. And when not me detect player, it will turn slowly. So it looks like a rotating object. It just kind of gives it a little more, feels like an in-game object. So it spins when it's not near you. So yeah, the other key is coded the same way. Now, what this does is these padlocks, well, these doors, there's 2 of them, but they glow and kind of blend together. But each door is attached to one padlock. So when the padlock is destroyed, the door is destroyed. So let's take a look at the padlock codes. Basically, they glow just like the door. And the door just glows. So basically, the key destroys the door and the padlock. So, we can probably go to the switch, which is down here, and this object. Obviously, it glows. It uses the hologram to look like it's glowing. When player bump me, play everywhere. The music victory stinger basically I wanted to kind of do like the Zelda thing where it makes a sound. It makes like this cute, like this nice little stinger sound to show that you've done something. And then it'll switch the script to the next page. And on this page, it glows a different color to show that it's activated. Its color changes just so this color shows up a little bit better. That's why I did that. And then this door, which is the in-world object, which is the gate that was blocking your way underwater, power on. So the power turns on that and it opens. The camera also has power on. So power on to the camera, and we will look at that camera right now to see what that means. So right here is the camera, and when it has power, it's a first-person camera. But also when it has power, a countdown timer starts for 4 seconds and then destroys itself. That way it shows what you did, and then it goes back to the player. And let's go up here. And now for the portal to the boss room. When player bump me, it glows, it's a hologram and then bright color. It will play magic coating energy charge up, so it sounds like it's charging and about to teleport you. It will also play elemental ice aura loop, so it kind of has a whatever. It will also play the void aura intense effect. So this is an effect. It'll play effect at socket top side, so it's more towards the top, and it kind of forms around you slowly, which makes it look like it's charging. Also, under the line 2 code on line 6 is a countdown timer to 3, so basically, player bump me, if it equals you're bumping it for 3 seconds, basically you're standing on it for 3 seconds, it will play effect, void explosion at socket top side, and then a little bit more of a delay here, that way you can see the explosion and kind of feel like you were teleported. The countdown timer will be 3.4, so there's just a little bit of time to see the explosion. And then the in-world object, which is the player, position equals, and then this object, which is in the boss room, it can't be seen, can't be collided with. Its position is where the player will end up. And then attached to this line is a sound it'll play, which is explosion grenade, just to have a more heavy explosion. It will also play an effect, and since this is after this, it'll all play a little bit later than line 6 over here. But so it'll play a stone explosion, scale of 2, at this position, as well as it'll play effect void destruction at the same position. The reason for this is it looks like you teleported right into the ground and like made a basically slammed into the ground with your teleport. It just looks cooler. Seems more full. So that's that, and let's quickly look at the actual object that you use to teleport to, which is right here. When me detect player, and then you come down here to the attached lines, Goblin has power on. And when it basically since this is attached and it's a countdown timer for 1, that means it'll detect you for a full second, 1 second, and then that will give this camera, which is also an in-world object, power. We'll go over why, but it does it for 1 second. You should make the detect collider thing, the detect sensor, much bigger. That way you can't exit it within 1 second, and that way it will ensure that the camera takes. The reason I didn't do it instantly is because I wanted you to see him teleport there. So yeah, before we take a look at the camera that this object activates, we're going to take a look at the goblin because I didn't do much with him. So basically, since it turns his power on, when he has power on this script, he will emote mad, so he'll just be grr for 5 seconds because the countdown timer that's attached to that line is 5 seconds, and it will switch the page to the next page, which is where I'll start coding all the boss stuff. And the reason he emotes mad is so it just looks more like a boss camera from Zelda kind of thing. So when this has power, it turns into a first-person camera without controls, meaning you can't control the camera. Transition, it eases between, so it basically moves towards it instead of just changes right to the camera. Attached to that is display, green dude, which is just more of a placeholder, I'm going to say for now, at the middle of the screen. Large font, or extra large font rather. The type speed will be relatively quickly, so 8. So that name will type out, it'll say green dude, it'll type out while it looks at him, getting all angry. And the countdown timer is 4, and then it will destroy self, that way the camera will just shut off. And that's about it for this episode. I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys at least found something interesting. Thank you very much for liking. If you do like what I do with Project Spark, or you want to see something specific with Project Spark, please like and subscribe. And if there's something you really want to see made in Project Spark, even if it's like a recreation of something from a game, or if you just want bosses remade, which I always enjoy doing, or you want something unique that you have in mind that you want to see made with Project Spark, let me know. I'll try to do the ones that, well, one I think I can do and do well and that are entertaining. So, thank you guys for watching. Talk to you later.